Lanka Evaluation Association, SLEvA, warmly welcomes you all for today's webinar on evaluation's contribution to development success, excellence in managing evaluation. We are also honored to welcome our former presidents, Dr. Soma De Silva, Mr. Romeshun, and Mr. Jinendra Kothalawala. Dr. Soma De Silva is the speaker of today's webinar. Today is the sixth webinar in the series of webinars organized by SLEvA in 2026. I'm Hilmy Ishak, Assistant Treasurer of SLEvA, and I'm here for Mr. Amil Epad, the President, and who is the designated moderator of today's webinar. Due to an unavoidable circumstance, Mr. Amil is unable to moderate today's webinar. With that welcome note, I now have the honor of inviting Mr. Romeshun, a former president of SLEvA, to make a quick opening remark for today's webinar on evaluation's contribution to development success, excellence in managing evaluation. Over to you, Mr. Romeshun.
Thank you, Hilmy Ishak. So, evaluation competency frameworks that have been developed by countries as well as institutions have usually about 5 or 6 distinct categories. Managing evaluation is one of them and covers commissioners as well as evaluators, management competencies to successfully conduct an evaluation. I'm happy that SLEvA has arranged a session on this subject and has also found an excellent resource person in Dr. Soma De Silva to do it. Looking forward to hearing her. I'm sure that everybody in the audience would be the same. So thank you for this opportunity, and over to you, Hilmy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Romeshun, for setting the stage up for our speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Soma De Silva, to present and discuss today's topic. Dr. Soma De Silva is a former advisor on monitoring and evaluation for UNICEF South Asia. She pioneered the establishment of the SLEvA and served 2 terms as its president, and later served as president of International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation. Dr. Soma has been instrumental in advancing evaluation education in South Asia, contributing to the institutionalization of evaluation training, and is the author of Theory of Change for Development Success. She holds a PhD from the University of Kelaniya with postgraduate training in demography, statistics, psychology, and sociology. Dr. Soma, the floor is now for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. So let us start, but let me share the screen first. Isn't it, Pasindu?
Yes, Dr. Soma, you can.
Share screen. Sorry, share screen, isn't it? Okay, right. Is my screen visible?
Yes, we can see you, madam.
All right, let me go to, yeah, right. All right, so I'm very glad to be giving this webinar, and thank you very much to the Sri Lanka Evaluation Association for organizing this series of webinars. Thank you very much, Mr. Romeshun, for your introduction, and Mr. Hilmy Ishak also for your words of introducing the webinar. So our topic essentially is about managing evaluation. And as Mr. Romeshun mentioned very, very appropriately, managing evaluation or the capacity to manage evaluation is an important competency, not only of evaluators, but also of commissioners and also of many, many other people, such as the users of the evaluation. So let's get started. We have about 1 hour today to discuss. I put here discuss, not to achieve any learning outcomes or new knowledge or new skills. The idea is simply to bring up some issues regarding or some aspects regarding managing evaluation, draw attention to them and focus on them, and also to discuss these issues rather than to present any complicated ideas. So we can only do a few things within 60 minutes. So let's discuss, first of all, the key features of development, because evaluation is to support development. This is all about development, which means promoting the well-being of people. Simply, development is that. If we go a little bit deeper, development means promoting the rights of people, the rights of people for a decent living, for rights of children, for education, rights of all men, women, all segments of the society to access the best possible health care, etc. So we talk about evaluation in the context of development. So that's extremely important, because I sometimes feel we don't place evaluation in this context. So why I am saying that is sometimes the development issues, sometimes the evaluation techniques, the contexts are very complex, very academic, very high level, but we need to bring that down to ground level and use evaluation to help people quickly and in a visible, tangible manner to improve their well-being. So let's discuss some features of development, and then where does evaluation management come? I'm sure all of you agree that the world as a whole is not going to achieve SDGs. If past trends are to be extrapolated, SDGs can be achieved in 2092. That's a conservative estimate. Given what is happening in the world right now, perhaps that would be even much later. So what is the reason for this? Of course, there are many reasons, multiple levels of reasons must be there, and they are there. However, a well-identified reason is that development interventions are not evaluated. Putting it in other words is, we don't look back, we don't learn, we don't apply the learning. Now, when we say we, it's largely those countries, those populations that are not developing as they should. Developed countries do that. So, not arguably, it is, I think, well acknowledged that poor evaluations, not doing evaluations, not using evaluations is a cause. Now, what is the cause of this? Why are evaluations not done? Why are they not usable? And therefore, why are they not used? So one can point a finger for those things for not properly managing evaluations. And that is why managing evaluations is a competency that evaluators should have. And I argue that everybody should have. And as Mr. Romeshun said, so that's a competency. And the third point, let us look at elements of an effective evaluation management plan. Evaluation management plan. So at the moment, I'm very happy to speak to you, to share these ideas with you, and to also get back your own ideas because Dr. Asela and I are working on a set of guidelines with tools on managing evaluation. So we keep an open eye and learn every single day by looking at practices in other countries, the documented practices from UN agencies, but mostly we want to learn from our own country. So that's another purpose, that's another happy reason for doing this webinar. So let's look at these things. So what do you think? Let me ask a question. What do you think? I need to remove this. Give me a second. No idea how to remove it. Let me put it somewhere here. Right. Is the best description of development. So I'm going to request you to come on let's go on a journey of reflection for the remaining few minutes for us and not just listening. So what is the best description of development? Let's look at a few alternatives. Shall we say it is improved realization of human rights, achievement of development results, this is common things we hear, peace and harmony in the world. So I invite you to agree with either A, B, C, or A and B, or all three, or whatever. And if you can give your answers in the chat bar, that would be wonderful. And of course, there are no right and wrong answers here. So it's what you think that matters. You can just write A, B, C, or all three, whatever you think is closest. Remember, as professionals in any field, and as professionals in evaluation particularly, our role is directly to promote development, promote well-being of people. I don't think evaluators have any other reason for existence. A, all three, okay. What else? Here are the answers, right, okay. We have only a few responses yet. We have A, all three, B, all three, A, all three, right. So A seems to be commonly agreed, improved realization of human rights, yes. And when we take B, achievement of development results, it is saying, in other words, the same as A, because development results are improvements in human rights. So just wanted to make that point. Development is about human rights. But if we loosely say development results, what must be understood is that a development result is a change of realization of human rights. So we must bring this language into our practice. We are talking about promoting human rights. And nobody said C, peace and harmony in the world. Okay, right. Peace and harmony in the world is one aspect of the human rights. So that's great. That's really very good. So what we are talking about is improved realization of human rights as what is meant by development. It's precisely that and nothing else, although we may say it in different words. And here, what do you think is the best explanation for, okay, let's see this, of how evaluation helps achieve development? Is it evaluation holds people accountable? We talk about accountability when we talk about evaluation. Evaluation provides recommendations to act on. Evaluation provides evidence for improvement. So what is the best explanation of how evaluation help achieve development? Just indicate what you think on the chat bar. C, all three. What else? All three. Okay, all three. A, C, again, all three. Yes. Wait for a second or two more. All three. So we have all three as a common, yes, again, all three. Yes. And then there was a single answer pointed out as C. Yes. The best explanation of how evaluation helps achieve development. Yes, it is all three. But I think if we were to pinpoint on one, it provides evidence for improvement. And then, of course, it's connected to B, and that evidence, based on that, it provides recommendations. When an evaluation is done, what has happened is it has found evidence for assessing whether the intervention that was evaluated achieved success in terms of achieving results for people. And then, of course, part of it is holding people accountable. Now, personally, I don't like this holding people accountable, because the time right now is not to go and, find who did what and who did not do what, and therefore what to proceed from here. The more important thing is to make changes for the people in terms of better realization of their rights. So let's move forward then. So many responses were all three, which is great. So if you were asked to manage an evaluation, what would you have to do? So conduct the evaluation at the highest standards. Do you agree to that, or do you want to change it? If you want to speak out, that's great also, instead of writing. Does anyone want to volunteer and say how you would change it? First of all, do you want to change it, and how would you change it? If you were asked to manage an evaluation, what would you have to do? Conduct the evaluation at the highest standards at the lowest cost. Is that what you think, or what would you take on for yourself? Are the standards important? You can just speak out also. Yes, this is largely true. Managing an evaluation means getting an evaluation done, not doing the evaluation, but getting an evaluation done, certainly, yes, to meet the highest standards. But it is more than that. The value of an evaluation is only if it is usable. So managing an evaluation that can be used and that is used. So the use of the evaluation is extremely at the center of this whole process. There were times, very unfortunately, in the world, and even involving the highest, the most responsible organizations, where evaluations were done and the reports were confidential. But fortunately, now that is no more. The entire evaluation process as well as the findings must be disseminated, but disseminated is not the right word really, must be communicated to all stakeholders who are relevant. But the key word here is used. Now, Michael Quinn Patton's principle in the utilization-focused evaluation is that the evaluations must be used. An evaluation that is not usable and that is not used is a complete waste of resources. It is unethical. Those who commission evaluations have a responsibility, a primary responsibility, to carry out the evaluation in a very open, transparent way, engaging all stakeholders and using an effective communication process. So engaging all stakeholders, using an effective communication process. Why? It is then that we can do the evaluation to these high standards and use the results to make a change in the level of well-being of people. Now, the issue of the costs here, that's not a primary issue. Of course, the evaluation itself must be efficient. That means we must be able to do it in such a way we can get the same results, same quality, we must use a method which gives us the best value for money. But our key point here is we manage an evaluation to produce evaluation products and a process that are usable, that are used for the benefit of the people. But benefit means their well-being, their improved well-being. That means their rights realized better. So those are the key concepts when we talk about evaluation. An evaluation must be usable. An evaluation must be used. That is at the center of managing an evaluation. If anybody does an evaluation that is not usable, that means it's not reliable, it's not valid, it doesn't meet the standards, then I think that's very unethical. That's a waste of scarce resources. But the evaluation may be usable, it may meet the highest standards, but it has to be used as well. So who has that responsibility? How are these responsibilities shared? Now, all this is part of managing an evaluation. So managing an evaluation is not an administrative procedure only. It's not a management process only in the sense of looking at the issues of getting it done. It is much more than that. At the heart of managing an evaluation is using the evaluation. After an evaluation is done, and while it is being done, it must be possible to see that it is used to benefit people. So this is the message that I want to give. Why I give this message is I have had opportunities to review evaluations worldwide, regionally, and then as part of my work while I was with UNICEF was to assess the quality of the evaluations, and we have witnessed reports by experts who say in this year so much money was spent on so many evaluations, but the proportion that met the basic standards is so much. These are extremely sad kinds of findings that should not happen. So we know that we have VNRs, voluntary national reviews. Voluntary national reviews have been reviewed by various organizations, and a common one voice that comes through these reviews is that evaluation is a missed opportunity. They have not used it. So we sort of do a lot of activities using money because money is there, but there has been no accountability to use this money to make a change in people's lives at all, almost at all, I would say. Those countries that do it are the ones who are developed, who are conscious of this, and who are doing evaluations to promote the well-being of people. All of us know some of those countries. I think Finland stands at the top of the list if you were to list them. So that is why managing evaluation is a topic that we must all be very concerned about. So basically, to go through the process very quickly, we start with the theory of change, which we are not going to talk about here. We cannot have a development intervention without a proper theory of change. In that case, we can evaluate such an intervention if we look at its purpose, if we have a framework, etc. Then we design an evaluation, we implement it, and after the implementation, at the end of the evaluation or in the process, based on evidence, certain recommendations will be made. And here is where the use link comes very strongly. It comes here also, all the way from here. But when an evaluation makes recommendations, the management of the intervention now has a bounden duty. And that duty is to make a response to the recommendations. If the evaluation recommendation says that a certain outcome, that improvement in, let's say, preschool education, or the implementation of a program to improve preschool education has not worked because things like training the teachers, providing the necessary equipment, and something else happened but did not happen together at the right time so that they could come together, interact, and produce the results. For example, trained teachers go to the classroom, but the necessary equipment is not there. The necessary policies are not there for them to work differently. So this synchronization has not been there, so do something about it. So management response should be, yes, we agree with this recommendation, or we don't for these reasons. So there is now a really, I think, effective, beautiful process that has come in, management response, not only the response, but also how do we then implement the recommendation, and so on. We will be looking at it in the next few minutes. So basically, evaluation, the idea here is evaluation is not external to the program. Evaluation is very much built into the program. I don't like the word program. Let's call it, because program is very limiting, an intervention. And we need a good intervention. If it is to be evaluated, we need to decide the purpose right from the beginning. The purpose means what is it going to be used. So anyone who has some concern for people, anyone who is a proper evaluator or wanting to be a good evaluator shouldn't touch a TOR or shouldn't undertake an evaluation or support an evaluation if its purpose does not mention how it is to be used. But if you do that, that means a fairly large chunk of money is going to be wasted, which could have been otherwise used for the well-being of people. and thereafter it's a good design, implementation, etc. So can you see use begins at the beginning? That's the whole idea. Use begins at the beginning. Use does not happen at the end, because if it didn't happen at the beginning, it cannot happen later. So that's a key message I would like to share with all of you who are experienced evaluators and some who would be wanting to become strong evaluators to serve the people. So for all, this is a message because it's a neglected area. So having said that, we propose several, let me go. Having sort of read what has been written about managing evaluations, let me just go back here a little bit. What happens here? Give me a second. Yeah, okay. So we can look at managing evaluation in 5 steps. The first step in managing an evaluation is to prepare the evaluation plans. Without planning, we cannot achieve anything. This is too simple to agree, but we really have to have a very good plan. So, and this planning has to be at national level, then maybe the ministerial levels, and within ministries, the departmental levels, or even below that. So there is a process where a country can have a national evaluation plan. And that plan should not have 10, 15 evaluations per year, because that's impossible at the given moment. If we can do 1, 2, maximum 3 well-selected interventions based on criteria, understanding why we are doing that evaluation and what use are we going to make of it. If we do even 1 proper evaluation at national level, I think we can make a huge difference to the progress of the country. So the first step is preparing plans. Many people jump to do evaluations without plans. Okay, having got a plan, then part of that plan, actually, what comes out of that plan is we need a good draft, good terms of reference. Exactly how it's like a building plan, and it should have the architectural plans, the engineering plans, everything should be there so that anyone can take those terms of reference and do the evaluation. There doesn't have to be much more back and forth at all. So we draft the terms of reference, and that's a fairly long process, and it's a process that requires good competencies and certain other ingredients, which we will talk about in a moment. So draft the terms of reference, and then we commission the evaluation. This is an extremely difficult task because it's very hard to find evaluators who have these competencies, who will be committed to those processes, and who will understand why evaluations are being done. Fortunately, things are changing fairly well. For example, in Sri Lanka, we have the Jayawardenepura University that has started teaching evaluation. It's advanced certificate course on monitoring and evaluation. I had a very happy day yesterday because certain students who came to this course have taken their knowledge very far in influencing their work in that ministry. So I think those are real contributions. So universities must take, I even think that instead of lumping a lot of subjects like humanities and social sciences, etc., at the A-level stage itself, we could have monitoring and evaluation as a stream and have relevant subjects there, so that when they are out of the school, the universities have a stream for them to enter, or they can take other parts of higher education. So commissioning and evaluation, again, fraught with many difficulties. And then we need to monitor the implementation of the evaluation. We cannot hand over the evaluation to the commissioner and wait for the report. Then there will be disaster. I can guarantee there will be disaster. I've never seen anything other than disaster, really. So we need to monitor the implementation. And then step 5, complete the utilization of the evaluation. So, sorry, it's hard to go back here. Let me give it a try. Yes. So there are 5 steps here. Of course, you can put this into 6 steps, 10 steps, or even 4 steps. But we thought that having these 5 steps, everything can be put into that. And the way we have written this guidebook is, within these 5 steps, there are 5 further steps. These are key steps, then 5 steps, and each step then has a few activities. So the guidebook says, okay, why prepare evaluation plans? For these reasons. Then these are the 5 steps to prepare an evaluation plan. Step 1, do this, do this, do this. And then these are illustrated. And of course, we will be sharing this very widely, and especially people like you who reflect very critically, analytically. Your feedback would also be extremely important, because this is in the interest of the people, not only in our country, in the world. So managing an evaluation, we can talk about it in these 5 steps. Prepare the evaluation plans, then draft the terms of reference, commission the evaluation, monitor the implementation, complete the utilization. Now, we use the word complete here carefully, because utilization, actually, again, I had a discussion with some good evaluators in the field. They say they would prefer that we don't use the word utilization. Use is a better word. We need to use it. Utilization is a bit complex. Immediate use. And it happens not here, not after the report is prepared or at the end of the evaluation. It happens here. The use must be understood here. We must plan for the use, and every step of the way is to ensure that use is happening and will be completed here. Even in the process of the evaluation, for example, at the beginning, the evaluators might have a task of looking at the theory of change. And they might say that, okay, this theory of change is not complete for this reason. For this change, we need 3 outcomes, and the intervention is only giving us 2 outcomes. Therefore, your expected impact is not likely to happen. Therefore, this is now in the very early stages of the evaluation. Right now, that correction can be made. We don't have to wait till the evaluation is over. So that is why use is not at the end of the evaluation. Use begins at the beginning. I think these are very critical things for us to act on if we want, as evaluation professionals, to make a real contribution to the development of the people. Now, in doing an evaluation, there are 2 major things, again, that are often not done very well. One is the communication. Communication is extremely important from the very beginning to the end. What do we communicate? We communicate, okay, there is a plan now to do evaluations. What are we evaluating? Why are we evaluating? So this is not to be decided by an apex body or by evaluators or by commissioners. That will never work. what will work is if it is decided collectively by people who are affected. And for that, if the central idea comes from a center, it must be communicated well. And the communication also must be use-focused. So it's at the center. People's lives improved. You plan for communication. You have to have a communication plan, and everything here has to have a plan. And why do you communicate? Now comes the next most important thing in an evaluation. Thing in development as well. You cannot do development by a single person, by a single leader. No. Presidents, leaders, heads of departments, they are facilitators. They are there to get things done, to give direction, but they can't achieve results by themselves. That has never happened in the world, except perhaps disastrous things. So there are stakeholders, and we are not going to discuss who stakeholders are here. Everybody has a good idea also, I am sure. They are basically the people who are affected by the intervention positively and negatively, and those who have a responsibility to do the evaluation. So communication between them is extremely important. Their ideas are extremely important. Say, for example, education programs. If you're having a preschool education now, very happily we see that the government is interested in modernizing, in making preschool education better. I have heard that many monitoring and evaluation section is to be added to the policy document as well. But stakeholder consultation should include even preschool children, because after all, it's for them. So how can we adults decide for them fully? We can decide certain things, we cannot decide other things. If we think that preschool children cannot decide what they would like, then we are not thinking right. Similarly, very disadvantaged, marginalized people, groups, driven to the fringes of the society, they can also decide for themselves, and we should give that chance. Then interventions can be more successful. So stakeholder buy-in, recommendations improve, and intervention is improved. Now here again, depending on what kind of evaluation we do, if it's an evaluation of a program already done, then we can't improve that intervention. However, why did we do that evaluation then? We did it because, let's say, it has certain elements that are common to other interventions, in which case the learning from here can be applied to other interventions that are ongoing. So the cycle starts from people, ends with people. That's the key issue here. I mentioned national planning, but for only that we will look at a little bit here. National evaluation plans are being now done in some countries, and this was particularly pioneered by, I think, the government of South Africa. So national evaluation plan is fed by the, let's say, ministry plans. And each ministry must prepare a plan. And of course, we have to think very carefully, what is that plan? Is it an annual plan, or is it a multi-year plan? How many? Not more than 3, 4. And how does the ministry know what to evaluate? And that means it has to listen to its components, its departments, its other sections. And when these, and similarly, all the ministries should do that. And then some apex bodies should be able to discuss and decide which of these are high priority, why they are high priority, what do we do with them, etc. So this is just to illustrate that our first step was to prepare a plan. So that also we need to unpack and then put down to the level of activities. So it has to come from the bottom. Bottom has the knowledge actually. Bottom knows what happens, what does not happen, but it also has to be fed from the top, because the top also knows what is doable, what is not doable, what would serve the what would serve the country best, etc. So we need to have a consolidated national evaluation plan. That is the first part of a management issue. Drafting that, then I will just quickly go through the steps I mentioned. Now, draft the terms of reference is the key step. How do we do that? We determine the purpose, scope, use, engage stakeholders. We cannot emphasize this too much. We need the terms of reference. Do you like to think what the missing step here is? The fourth step is missing. Do you want to write something quickly on the chat bar? Terms of reference means you have to determine the purpose, scope, use, and to do that, you engage stakeholders. There are quality criteria, and then you obtain approval of the final TOR after doing something. What would that be? Share drafted TOR with stakeholders, evaluation users for feedback. Great idea. Yes, there should be a cost as well. That's true. That's true. One or two more? Think. Communicate with stakeholders. I like those words. They are music in my ear. Is a communication plan included in the TOR? Wonderful idea. Great idea. In fact, your comment makes me want to modify this section a bit. In fact, the TOR must include the communication responsibilities for the evaluators. It's not only by the commissioner. Nothing of this is only by the commissioner or by the evaluator. It's by commissioner, evaluator, and other stakeholders. Every step. If not, it's bound to get defeated. Yes. So here, fine-tune the TOR in line with the inception report. So when the TOR is floated for expressions of interest, and then you shortlist the evaluators or teams, really single evaluators cannot nowadays do a proper evaluation. Usually it has to be a team. And then they will say, okay, our response to your TOR is this. You are asking us to do, to evaluate effectiveness, efficiency, sustainability, impact, but we cannot evaluate impact fully because of this. So this is what we can do, because we expect evaluators to be honest, not to say, yes, we can do, and then later on say why they can't do it, because that's what happens quite often. But we have to listen to them. We have to understand what they can do, what we want. We may have to negotiate, compromise occasionally. And their inception report should feed back to the draft TOR. See the word draft here. And then we finalize it with them and with all the stakeholders. And after that, it becomes the blueprint. It becomes the blueprint. And for that, we need to get approval. The evaluation manager cannot say, okay, I did the TOR and let's go and do it. Because if you do that, you are bound to fail. You are bound to meet with disasters. You need to have some higher authority approve it, because then it's bound to happen as well. So moving on a bit fast.
Dr. Soma, we are now
Yes.
at 7:20, so
All right, I will stop.
Appreciate another 5 minutes, and then we'll
Yeah,
give you
sure. So
Right.
it's like this: step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. It goes. I will now run through this very quickly. For example, attempting to do an evaluation without a TOR is like starting to build a condominium without an architectural plan. Similarly, the steps for doing the commissioning the evaluation. So effective commissioning is the first step toward useful, credible, and influential evaluation. Remember, evaluation is not only useful, if we can make it influential as well, that's great. Then the next step is monitor the implementation. So that's extremely important. If we don't monitor the implementation, we cannot get good results. So TOR is only as good as it is monitored. And then finally is utilizing the evaluation. So not using an evaluation for improving development intervention amounts to wasting scarce public funds. So my first message was about use. The last message is also about use. So sometimes we see things like this. I'm going to take 2 interventions and get them evaluated. So here's a nice box. Each costs 3 million rupees. So this person says, great, what are you going to use them for? Oh, I just want to see what's happening there. Do you think the cost is worth it? So things to think about. Right, I think I'm done. What we discussed, globally people live in conditions far below SDGs. We want more people to have their rights promoted, and managing evaluations effectively is part of that. We discussed, we looked at 5 steps, and communication and stakeholder engagement are very key. Communication, stakeholder engagement, and use focused. But remember, evaluation alone cannot help. And evaluation cannot be done very often unless there has been a good monitoring system with corrective action. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Soma De Silva. So you have taken us through this very important process of managing evaluations and why it is important and how it must be addressed and so on. So we have another 6 minutes to wrap up today's session, and I would like to open it for a few questions. You can post your questions briefly in the chat bar. And while I get questions, I would like to post one general question that we often see is how a commissioner determine the duration of an evaluation. I mean the step 3, where the commissioning, where the implementation is done. So generally the experience and observation is that since the planning and the TUR formulation step takes a lot of time, hence the evaluator get a limited time to do the evaluation. So is there any particular way to determine the duration of an evaluation depending on the duration of the intervention or whatever criteria?
Yes, that's a very important question. You said something very, very close to what happens in reality. There is quite a lot of agreement. Yes, I can do this in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. But from the day we start, we see a lot of reasons why it can't be done in that time. And then what happens? It gets postponed, low quality, and after all, the need for the evaluation may also have gone by the time the evaluation comes. And under those circumstances, very often the product of the evaluation is also not very good. Is there a way to determine the time it takes? Of course, once we do the terms of reference carefully, the terms of reference also has, now it says these evaluation products have to be given. Say, for example, if it's going to do a household survey, short, simple household survey, what are the activities? So you break that survey product into activities, draft the questionnaire, etc., etc. Now, some of these things, now that you ask this question, should come in their inception report. They cannot provide the inception report and then say we will do the questionnaire, because those things never happen. And once we have agreed, once we have paid them their first installment, there is no way to say we don't accept this questionnaire. And if we say it, yes, fine. So then what do? Then, okay, we will help you to do it. It goes on. So we can roughly estimate based on our experience. That is why stakeholder engagement is very important. for a survey of this kind, to visit 100 houses in this area, we might be able to get, we may need 10 days. But if we engage like double the number of enumerators, survey takers, we can cut this down, etc. So first we have an overall idea about how much time it should take. And then after that, we have the activities we need to do and how much time is needed for each of those activities. Are there ways to cut it down? Do we really need to do it that fast? All of these must be thought out in the TOR preparation stage and agreed upon very carefully at the inception report acceptance stage. Your question is very important. Time is very, very often a neglected aspect of the TOR and a cause of delayed reports.
Thank you so much for that enlightenment. We also have a question from Lian asking that in practice, the evaluation plan only come and done by the evaluators after the commission is done. Do you have any suggestions to ensure the evaluation plan is in good quality?
Yes, of course. First of all, TOR must be well done. Because usually the person who does the TOR, especially in small organizations, not his fault, may not have an idea about how to do a TOR because it's a fairly difficult task. There are guidelines. That's why we are also doing this guidebook. So he needs to get a few people, he or she needs to get a few people together, do the TOR as completely as possible. It's okay to spend some time here, get it reviewed. If we don't have people in the organization to do it, get it reviewed by a few outsiders. Have your connections, networks. And then you give as complete a TOR as possible. And then you expect the inception report to make it even more complete, to make it, to supplement it. TOR doesn't have to necessarily give, say, survey questions or themes for qualitative inquiries, but the inception report should give it. The time you spend doing that is worth it because then the plan is there. It's like giving the house plan to the Basuna, say, now build. You don't have in between, do we put a wall here? Is this foundation okay? No, because the blueprint is there, you proceed. So this time you spend doing the TOR, doing the negotiations, fine-tuning the TOR is worth it because after that, minimal chances to go astray.
Thank you so much. And also, I think I will have one more question. This question is from Nirmi. What is the role of the evaluator in ensuring that the learning evidence is validated by the participants in the evaluation?
He has a big role to play there. The revised UNEC guidelines, actually, I'm very happy to see, I think has incorporated this. In those days, evaluator could take the terms of reference, do the evaluation, hand over the report. Remember, the evaluation is not there only to give you a final report. From the word go, it has to give you certain evaluation products that are used from the beginning. Use begins at the beginning. Now, your question was, does the evaluator have a role to play in getting the evaluation used? Essentially, that's what you asked. Yes, because every step of the way, he has to read the TOR, see what it is going to be used for, and therefore, and by whom, and therefore, he has to keep that in mind. His evaluation questions, his data collection, his analysis, his reporting, his writing, all that. And I think now it's one of the newest competencies added to evaluator competencies to ensure adequate use or the planned use of the evaluation.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think if we could continue discussing these points further and further, but I think we have now come to the time where we need to wrap it up today. Now, I have the pleasure and honor to invite Mr. Jinendra Kothalawala, one of our former presidents, to do the thanking remarks. Mr. Jinendra.
Thanks, Mr. Hilmy, for introducing me. Today, our sessions organized as partnership with the Global Evaluation Week 2026. Today's sessions highlighted the evaluation contributions to development success and how we can get excellence in managing evaluations. On behalf of the SLEvA, first I would like to sincerely thank today's speaker, our founder member and past president of SLEvA, Dr. Soma De Silva, for sharing her knowledge, lifelong experience, and practical aspects and perspective with diverse and engaged audience for the webinar, while contributing to strengthening the evaluation practice in Sri Lanka as well as region and globally. While congratulating her on this contribution, special thanks to Mr. Romeshun also for contributing for the session, and especially SLEvA current president Mr. Amilepa and Executive Council for contributing for this webinar organizing and coordinating. Next, thanks go to Mr. Hilmy Ishak for moderating these sessions well, and our SLEvA Secretariat coordinated this event, especially Mr. Pasindu and Ms. Madhusha contributed to that. So special thanks for them, and webinar organizing committee as well as G Local Evaluation Week 2026 team for their partnership. Last not the least, I would like to specially thank for all the participants for joining this webinar and communicating with all participants throughout the session via chats, and especially get actively involved in Q&A sessions. Thanks again for everyone, and excuse me if I missed anyone. Over to you, Mr. Hilmy Ishak.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jinendra, for that very thanks note. So it's time now for us to wrap this session up, and the topic is really echoing in our ears, and I'm sure we might get the inspiration for us to think the excellent way to manage evaluations. And we will have many questions based on this topic, and we will do a follow-up in the months to come in this regard. Looking forward to meet you all again, and have a good evening. See you. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.